we are deep into the holidays, and that means all the cookies all the time. I'm Michelle from Cup of Zest, and today I'm going to show you how to make some delicious cranberry white chocolate shortbread cookies that you're going to love. So let's get started. First, we're going to prep some of our ingredients. We have 1 cup of dried cranberries right here. We're going to go ahead and finely chop them. So do a couple passes, get a nice fine chop on these babies. That way you'll get like a nice little bite of cranberry in every cookie and like every bite of the cookie, and it's pretty delicious. All right, that looks pretty good. We got nice fine little pieces in here. They're just gonna hang out to the side, and we're gonna go ahead and chop our white chocolate up, okay? So we are using 6 ounces white chocolate bar, and you're gonna go ahead and chop them into chunks. I like the white chocolate in this recipe because it's gonna add a little sweetness, especially with the tart cranberries. It's really a nice pairing. And the pieces don't need to be super even. It's fun to have like a variety of shapes and sizes when you are chopping up your chocolate. So don't worry if they're not perfect. Remember, like, what is perfection anyways? All right, that looks pretty great. So we're gonna let these hang out to the side while we prep the rest of the ingredients. All right, let's do that. Let's for our little mess. There we go. And next we're going to go ahead and cream together our butter and our sugar and our vanilla extract. So we have 1 cup of softened salted butter. We're using salted butter because we're not adding any extra salt to the recipe. And you see it's nice and soft. 2 sticks. This delicious butter. I mean, look at the color. It's so nice. Now, my other shortbread recipe, which just is plain shortbread, I like to use Kerrygold, but since this recipe has like the cranberries and the chocolate in it, a high quality standard butter is going to be good for this, okay? As long as you use salted and you make sure it's nice and soft. And then we're going to go ahead and add in our powdered sugar. We're going to use 3/4 of a cup, and we measure with the scoop and level method. If you want to, you can use a scale. I've got the weights listed too below in the recipe description, also on the website. There we go. And now a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Measure it off to the side of your bowl, so if you spill any, you don't have like, you know, some ruined butter and powdered sugar. All right, so now we're just gonna go ahead and beat this together until it's just light and creamy. Medium speed on my hand mixer. You know, it takes about a minute or so. If you're using a stand mixer, it might take a little bit longer or less time. I don't know. You'll have to go ahead and test it out if you're using a stand mixer, okay? All right, that's it. That's what we want it to look like. It just became light and fluffy. And then I'm gonna go ahead and set this here for a second. Scrape down the sides of the bowl, just so we can get everything incorporated. Yes, I mean, just a little butter, sugar, vanilla. That's so good. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and add in our flour. We're doing 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Again, scoop and level method. If you haven't learned yet, that's how we do it over here. Scale is also a good option, like I said earlier. And let's get this going. That was weird. All right, 2 cups. There we go. All right, we're also gonna add in our cranberries and chocolate that we chopped up. It's all just going right in here. And then we're gonna beat this together on low speed until it just comes together as a dough, okay? There's definitely a lot of dough getting stuck in here. It's a lot of butter from earlier, so I'm just gonna get that out. Use your fingers, use your hands, for sure. It's a workout. I gotta change arms. That looks great. So the dough's just starting to come together. Make a little extra room. That looks great. And we're gonna go ahead and lightly flour our service. Just a little flour. And then turn this out onto our counter. Now we're gonna go ahead and smush this dough together until you get a nice log. And we'll press it all together nice and tightly and then divide it into 2 logs so we can slice it later. Now you're not really like kneading, you're just really kind of pushing everything together. We don't want to overwork the dough or else it'll get really tough, and definitely don't want that with a shortbread. We want a nice tender crumbly cookie. All right, that looks good. And we'll go ahead and slice it in half. Got a bench scraper over here. We're just gonna eyeball it. If you want, you could totally weigh it out if you want it to be super exact, but I find that eyeballing it is totally fine. Now we're just gonna take our dough, we're gonna form it into 2 separate 7-inch logs. If you notice that your dough starts sticking, you can add a little bit more flour, just tiny bits. And I like to, just kind of form it with my hands. I'm sure you saw that if you watched my other shortbread videos. And then maybe at the end, give it a little roll. All right, where's my ruler? Ah! There we go, that's about 7 inches. That looks great to me. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up in a piece of parchment. All right, so this guy's ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same with this other piece of dough, roll it into a 7-inch log, and then they're gonna go into the refrigerator for at least 2 hours until they're nice and chilled and rested, and then we'll pop them into the oven after that. So let's put this guy over here. A little flour. Get this guy going. Wonderful. All right, into the fridge. Let's go, buddies. All right, so our cookie dough is nice and chilled. We're gonna go ahead and cut each log into about 10 to 12 pieces. You want the pieces to be 1/4 inch to 3/4 of an inch thick. And because there are chunks of things, the cranberries and white chocolate in this, might be a little bit difficult. So you just need to put a little bit of elbow grease into it. Got two parchment lined baking sheets, and our cookies are just gonna go right on here. These might spread just a tiny bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them a little bit further apart than I have for other cookies. So let's do this, other shortbread cookies. Also, you can see that I didn't necessarily slice these super even. Do your best. It is really great if you can slice them super evenly, and I've been doing this and I've been cooking for such a long time. Still, I have issues with cookies and cutting them evenly sometimes. So they're still gonna be delicious, even if they're not cut exactly the same size as all the other ones, but they're gonna be good. So we're gonna do it. All right, and we'll put this last little chunk here. It's missing a piece, but I'm just gonna smush it together. All right, 2 trays of gorgeous cranberry white chocolate shortbread. These are gonna go into the oven until the edges are just nice and brown, like not nice and brown, just lightly brown. And that'll take about 14 minutes or so, okay? So keep an eye on them. Into the oven they go. Our cranberry white chocolate shortbread cookies are done. Don't they look great? So we're gonna go ahead and plate them. Just wanna give you a couple options, or an option for plating them if you're gonna take them to a party or serve them at your own party. I normally, like to just plate them in fun little shapes and not make them perfect on the plate. You do you, have fun with it. But I'm gonna go ahead and just put them on here so you have an option, okay? And while we do that, I might eat a bite. Yeah, so good. And one thing I wanted to do is have some extra cranberries to add a little extra color. So we're gonna go ahead and put a couple of those on the plate as well, just for fun. If you had some extra white chocolate, you could put extra white chocolate on here too. Let's see, maybe some more over here. Fun. Throw some in here. Oh yeah, I'm liking this so far. There you go. I'm into this. It looks great. I'm very excited to serve these at my next holiday party or just eat them all by myself. Alright. Let's talk about the cookie before we finish up. The cranberry is nice and tart. The white chocolate adds like a little bit of extra sweetness. And then it's a shortbread. So it's really buttery. It's got a little salt. It's so, so good. Love. Alright, friend, I cannot wait for you to make a batch of these cranberry white chocolate shortbread cookies. When you do, make sure to let me know what you think about them in the comments below, and I will see you next time for more party food adventures. I tried.